Hey everybody, in this video I'll be talking about some of my go-to inspirational movies when I play Shadowrun. I had a blast talking about my favorite movies to watch before I play D&D, and I heard about so many other great movies from all of you. And so I thought I would do the same thing with some movies that I like when playing Shadowrun. Now, if you've never played Shadowrun before, or you're unfamiliar with it for whatever reasons, Shadowrun is our world, but in the future, very dystopia, there's lots of other races and magic is back. It's kind of like our world if our world went very differently at the turn of the millennia. The idea is that there are different worlds. The fifth world, kind of like our world here, is normal, very mundane. But the sixth world was the return of magic. Dragons came back. People turned into orcs and elves and goblins. And magic returns, truly returns to the world. And it's really awesome. Shadowrun is also a very dystopian-looking future where the entire world is divvied up and run by mega corporations. Think sort of like the Tyrell Corp in the Blade Runner movies, that sort of look and feel. Now, for me, there's a handful of movies that I love to go to get inspiration for my story hooks as a GM, or for the way that I want to interact with some of the other runner characters, or just to get an overall feel of the way that the world works. And the first one that I want to look at for the way that I interact with the world of the future is by jumping back to the past with 1992's movie Sneakers. Now, this is a very fun movie, and the technology in the movie absolutely feels dated now. But it has some absolutely wonderful performances by Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, Ben Kingsley, Sidney Poitier, even young River Phoenix. And while the technology feels dated, it doesn't feel wrong, or it doesn't feel too out of place. Like, you can watch it now sort of as a period piece. Technology is a huge part of Shadowrun. It's one of my favorite things. You've got all of the different types of people. You've got your hackers and your deckers and your riggers, or maybe even your technomancers. I mean, there's a lot of technology in the world. People have cell phones, we have drones, we have different types of trackers. It's our world. It's a future version of our world. And the way that the characters in the movie Sneakers go about using technology, being a group of misfits, being a group of outlaws, just like your Shadowrun characters are. Most Shadowrun characters, they're not great people. Now, it's not that they're bad people, but they're criminals. They're crooks, whether they're petty thieves or hired mercenary killers. They're in this life. They're trying the best for them and theirs. And we see that in the movie Sneakers as well. I love watching the interactions between the different characters. I love the way that they try to go up against the major corporation to help bring it down for the good of them and to get what they want, and because they feel like it's just the right thing to do. I also love the infiltration and the sneaking around and the planning. There's a lot of planning in your Shadowrun games. Trust me, lots of planning. And this movie shows that done really well. The way that they scout things out in order to get a security pass to get into the building. The way that they're able to cobble together someone's voice in order to utter a passphrase. These all feel like things that are absolutely the type of stuff you're going to be doing as a Shadowrun character. I even really like watching Robert Redford crawl around through the ducts while his tech guy sits in a van a half a mile away, guiding him through looking at plans of the building. I'm pretty sure that I've done that before in a Shadowrun game, and so it's got a really great feel to it. I also like when we get to see Ben Kingsley character. He's the big bad guy, but he's not some maniacal, I'm evil because I'm evil, mwahahaha. Like, he's doing these things because he believes in them. He thinks he's making things better for himself or making it a better world, and he offers that to our heroes. I mean, what a wonderful story hook if you're the GM. Offer them a way in, and if they take it, cool. I mean, you might have to come up with some new stuff, but that's a pretty exciting choice for your characters to make. Overall, the movie Sneakers is just a lot of fun. It holds up pretty well, even though the technology is dated, and I love watching the interaction between the characters. Watching Dan Aykroyd's conspiracy theory nut job absolutely annoys Sidney Poitier's ex-FBI agent.
Now what are you saying? The NSA killed Kennedy?
No, they shot him, but they didn't kill him. He's still alive.
Is so much fun. It's inter-party conflict done right and done silly but taken seriously, and if you've got a minute, go check out Sneakers. Now the next movie about the future is a little bit closer. It's from 1995 and it's the movie Strange Days. Now again, this movie is a great movie, a fun movie to watch just because of the performances. You get to see some really cool stuff from Angela Bassett and Ralph Fiennes. Tom Sizemore is in it as this really scuzzy but really cool character. And Michael Wincott is our bad guy, and he's super creepy and he's super hateable, but he's got this charisma. It's a lot of fun. The acting is fantastic. Strange Days is sort of about a data courier, and that's absolutely a story hook or even just a job you can have in Shadowrun. The idea is that they've dumped a part of their brain and have freed up the hard drive. They've freed up that memory space and they can upload different things, and they're protected and all of that kind of stuff. They run off to the person that they're supposed to deliver it to. It gets downloaded. You get paid. Happy days, chummer. But what happens if something goes wrong? What if the data starts to leak, or your Shadowrun character maybe can't tell the difference between their real memories and the memories that were implanted? There's some really fun things that are explored in this movie that you can totally put into your Shadowrun game. The movie has some great fights and some good gunfights and shootouts, but also it shows the importance of a good face, of someone that knows how to use the social cues and talk their way out of things and negotiate and bargain. Negotiations and bargains are a huge part of the Shadowrun world, and so this is a good movie to kind of get a feel for how to do that really well, all while following our characters who are, again, criminals. They're the underbelly. They're the seedy underground of New York City. Most of Shadowrun takes place in Seattle, but there's a lot of other locations. And in this movie, it's the eve of 1999, right before the new millennium. Some of the technology in the movie is old school stuff to us now, but some of it is still pretty futuristic. We don't have it yet. The squiddy thing that they wear in order to experience the memories of other people is a major thing that totally feels right in place with some of the different entertainment technologies that exist in the Shadowrun world. So, Strange Days, check it out. The last movie that I want to talk about that's perfect for inspiration for Shadowrun is maybe one that's a little bit controversial, and that is Netflix's movie Bright. Now, look, I loved it. I'll just tell you that right now. I loved the movie. I thought that the acting was good. I thought that the story was solid. I liked the special effects. All of it was really fun. I have a lot of very close friends who I respect their taste in movies that did not like Bright. And so sure, there are some problems with the storytelling maybe, but I really enjoyed it. A lot of folks that I know and that I've read their responses online, they didn't like Bright because it wasn't Shadowrun. Like a lot of people I know that tore that movie apart, they decided they weren't going to like it before it ever came out because it does look like Shadowrun. It feels like Shadowrun. In Shadowrun, we have the real world around us, and we have all of the normal jobs and lives and boring humdrum stuff. But some people are orcs, and some people are elves, and there's magic in the world. It's the world that's presented in the movie Bright. Also, magic is super powerful. In the movie Bright, magic is a really big deal. And in Shadowrun, magic is pretty powerful. It's a really great system for magic and for amping up the power of spells and what it is that magic can do. Honestly, in my opinion, I think that the magic and the way magic works in Shadowrun It's probably more powerful than the way magic works in some of our fantasy games like D&D or Pathfinder. I think that that's displayed really well in Bright. But also, more than anything else, Bright gets the look and feel of the Shadowrun world absolutely spot on. Even down to the idea that there are social consequences to having orcs running around, and magic in the world, and dragons, and elves, and all of these different things. The idea of race relations and racial tension is huge in Shadowrun, and the movie Bright really shows us how that racial tension happens between the different races, like orcs and like humans. And so it's really, really cool. I think it's a very fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it and you haven't played Shadowrun, I honestly would suggest checking it out. It's going to give you a really good feel for the look and how the world works that you're jumping into as you start to play your adventures in the Sixth World. So what movies do you like to watch with Shadowrun? What helps to create the feel of the world or understand the different cliques and factions and cultures of Shadowrun? What gets the magic right or the technology right? Talk to me about some of the movies you love for this. I had a blast talking to everybody with the D&D video, and you all gave me so many more movies to watch, and we got to chat back and forth. It was just a really awesome thing. I mean, all of you, this community can be so fantastic, and thank you for that. I'd love to have that same kind of conversation here about Shadowrun. Give me some more movies to watch. I'll go watch them and maybe make another one of these. Big thanks to everybody that comes by the channel. You can come by here every Tuesday and Thursday for new videos and check out the backlog of videos. Find something you really like and then share it out. Introduce Roll for Initiative to some of your friends. A big thanks to some of our Patreon patrons. I especially want to say thanks to Lainey and Arvy, Joan, Bryce, Sean. These are some of the people that help us continue to make videos. You know, putting out 2 videos every week is pretty tough, and if you want to help us to do that, maybe put out more videos or just put out better videos and more things to talk about, head over to patreon.com/rollforinitiative. Become one of our supporters, get a little bit of something in return, and that would really be pretty cool of you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Roll for Initiative. You can hear the paper. I don't know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to my reflection in the window. Okay.